The blood bin where central-wide quarter-final encounter pitting Kiambu, RFC and Zetech is supposed to kick off in the next probably 30 minutes or so. It's going to be an exciting one. Of course, Kiambu, RFC having finished at the top of the summit of the central region table. And of course, Zetech finishing at the 8th position, the last position in terms of the playoff, qualifying for playoffs. It's going to be an exciting one. Of course, a team that, again, if you look at Kiambu, RFC has been in existence for 6 years. They were the one who welcomed Zetech. They have taught them the way of playing rugby in the grassroots level and how you have to cope with everything to make sure that you can stay in existence for as long as possible. Well, we talked about having conversation about how grassroots level is faring in the country. Do we have enough in terms of the attention coming from the union in terms of grassroots level rugby? It's a conversation that I think the people around me are better placed to have a conversation about it. Charles Chege, who is the chairman of Kiambu Badgers RFC, is on this side, and I think he's a better place to confirm. Of course, Kiambu being an affiliate of Kenya Rugby Union in the last AGM, not this one. Of course, this year's AGM, the likes of Ngong Warriors received their affiliation. Of course, University of Eldoret was just among the 4 teams that received affiliation this season. Being an affiliate of Kenya Rugby Union means a lot, and Charles Chege will tell you that it also gives you a lot of things and a lot of say in terms of the union and what you have a very big role in terms of deciding some of the decision that you're supposed that will define how the Kenya Rugby will be run. Charles Chege, first of all, Kiambu Rugby is an affiliate of the Kenya Rugby Union. You are part of the AGM. You voted. Did we make the right decision in terms of the next 4 years who is going to run the Kenya Rugby, the Rugby Union?
I think we made a very good decision. Yeah. If you look at the Odur Gangla, yeah, he's a gentleman of the sport. He's a man who is in touch with the local clubs, and that's what we really need for rugby.
So you say Odur Gangla is the right man to run us for the next 4 years?
He's a very good man, yeah, he will do that, definitely.
Well, for those in doubt, they had it from an affiliate, someone who was part of the meeting.
Let me give you a secret. Yeah. I'm among the first people who asked him to run for chairman, because he's a very good gentleman of the sport, and he has what it takes to be the next chair and take this rugby to the next level.
And he tells you what is the reality. He does not fake it. He tells you that we don't have money, we have these issues and issues.
Yes, yes. That's what actually most of the affiliates like. He's a gentleman. He will tell you if the situation as it is. Yeah, he doesn't lie.
Quick one, let's talk about grassroots rugby. It plays a very big role in terms of development of Kenyan rugby. It's part of the revolution that we're talking about. Of course, Kiambu Rugby, just 6 years old, not much. We have not much stayed in the league, in the union, but you have played a very big role in terms of transforming rugby, not just in central, but also in national. Let's talk about some of the biggest challenges that maybe grassroots rugby teams face in Kenya.
Actually, if you look at central, as a region, we face twice the challenges other regions face. For example, Western, the community has already embraced the rugby. But in Central, we have to work twice as hard. First of all, the people don't know that Central can play rugby. So to convince the community to get the players to actually play. Now, and then you come into the real challenges. We have the technical challenges in terms of coaching, refereeing, and then you have now the financial difficulties. For any rugby is not a sport where you play within your region. You have to travel. So we go as far as Meru, Nanyuki, Chuka. So you have to get those resources. Yeah, for us, just to get a team to go to Chuka or Meru, it's a headache by itself. Yeah.
Quick one, you talked about the facilities, and of course, it's a challenge being in the grassroots level. But let's talk about you. You have been existent in 6 years. How have you been able to maintain your status? Of course, being one of the powerhouse in the central region. And of course, I know last season you almost made it to the championship, but you fell in the last hurdle. Let's talk about maybe for Kiambu Rugby, what have you done to make sure that for 6 years you have played competitive rugby without missing any match?
Well, I can't fail to thank our friends and our sponsors. We have Balcon Housing Company. It took us while we were still young, and they're still holding our hand till now. Yeah, they help us meet some of these costs, like transport. So those are the kind of people who have helped us keep afloat. Because without sponsors and good friends, it's impossible to play rugby. Yeah, for last season, yeah, we tried our level best. We reached the national quarters. Yeah, this season we are looking to go all the way to championship. Yeah.
New office, new things, of course, new development, new ideas. Let's talk about for you as Charles Chege, the chairman of Kiambu Rugby. What do you think that maybe the union, the new office that is at the helm of the Kenya Rugby Union, should do to make sure that grassroots rugby is not just rugby leagues that we don't care about. We only care about them once the team make it to the championship and the Kenya Cups.
Well, actually, as Central, we are looking to do a sub-union. So that's just basically organizing ourselves as Central. So that way we'll have more bargaining powers to sponsors. And even in the union, we'll have a better vote. Because when you collect the 8 teams now that are playing in Central, you will have a better bargaining power. And we are looking to involve the counties and the sponsors who are among us.
2018-2019 season, how would you describe the nationwide season in terms of for your team? How has the season been, the challenges, and maybe you finished the league. I remember you started from the top, you have been able to finish in the regular season still at the top. Let's talk about the 2018-2019 nationwide season.
Well, as Kiambu Rugby, we had a very good pre-season. The first one ever. So we have the depth that is needed to push through the nationwide. Yeah, if you look at Central, it has been very competitive. Actually, we were discussing last week, between number 1 and 8, anyone can carry the day. So it's only a difference of about 10 points. So it has been a very competitive league, and that's the kind of rugby we want for Central.
Asante sana Charles, all the best in your warm-up and hopefully for this game. I know, talking about this game, the man who is better placed, Florence, if you allow me, asante sana Charles, the man who is better placed to talk about today's game and of course how the team is preparing is the director of rugby, Leonard Njuguna, who has been at the helm of the team. And I mean, this man, he knows how the season has been. He can tell you the challenges of working with most of the players who are not remunerated in terms of the finances and of course financial constraint for some of this side. Director of rugby, let's talk about how the transformation has been ever since you come at the helm of Kiambu Rugby. People have seen a lot of changes that the team can be able to run all through the season, from the number 1 from at the top of the table until the end of the season, still finishing at the summit. Let's talk about your input to the team.
To be honest, the biggest input has been the players. Because they are the guys who put in their body, they're the guys who come for the sessions, they're the guys who play. So what we've done is we've given them some guidance and a program that they can follow. And then we've left them to do the program. Our idea is the program has to be player-led. So they run the program, we are just there to guide them and change a few things here and there.
Quick one, I know you have been with Impala, you have been with Black Blood. You know how, and of course you've been with Kiambu Rugby at the helm. I know there's a very big difference when you are at Impala, when you're at Black Blood, and of course when you are in some of these well-equipped and in teams that have financial muscles, and now coming to a national-wide side that is, let's say that it's struggling in terms of financial input. Not just Kiambu, we know a lot of national-wide side are struggling in terms of finances. But let's talk about the difference, the transition now from some of these of course, traditional clubs to now running a club that does not have financial muscles.
Well, I tend to look at it as a different way. I've been at a club where things are operated at a different level, the intensity is different, the kind of talent there and even the numbers in training is different. But you see, we need to understand, Kiambu Rugby was formed in 2012. Impala was I think in the 50s. In the 50s. So you see for them they started some time back. The difference is them when they were starting they didn't have such input, technology, the science behind it. And the advantage is now in our infancy we can at least start from the start. We can now put correct foundations, both how the club is run behind the scenes, from the board and the members, coming down to how the players, we try and concentrate a lot about the player welfare. So the thing is, the small resources we have, we're able to push them and try and balance them to fit into the player welfare program that we envision. So unlike them, we have less trial and error. We have less trial and error because we have the science behind it. We have the expertise behind it. We have the players who can now work on the program. So that's an advantage for us.
I know you have to go and prepare your team. I see you even look at your watch. Let's talk about the 2018-2019 season. How would you describe the season? Have you achieved whatever you started before in the pre-season?
The thing, the many things we set out in the pre-season, like having players being able to just complete a game. Yeah. We've worked on that. Our target is just going up to the championship, and that's basically our target. Now we are at a point where now it's a make or break. If we lose today, we are out of it, and we'll have to now refocus. And so for us, this is a very important game for us because it's a winner take all. There are no second chances here. So whoever executes in the next 80 minutes wins the game, moves on to the semis. So that's how we have to take the game. We've beaten them before, but the honest truth is that really counts for nothing right now. Right now is whoever scores in these 80 minutes, whoever wins this game, takes it all. So we can't take them for granted, but we have to concentrate. Yeah, we have to be our best, but we have to concentrate on ourselves. We can't focus on.
Asante sana. I know you have to prepare your team. Asante sana for your time. It's a winner take it all from you. That's a quote from you. Asante sana. Well, Florence, you heard it from the director of rugby. He's talking about the game, of course, beside of the conversation about grassroots rugby and the difference having at the helm of the well-equipped teams that have the financial muscles. If you have followed the Kenya rugby scene, you'll understand that Impala is one of the oldest teams in terms of Kenya rugby, and of course in terms of the financial muscles, they have shareholders compared to maybe some of this nationwide side. It's a whole different scenario for them, but again, he's ready to take up the journey and he's ready to start off something with Kiambu Rugby, and maybe in years to come, generation will talk about how the likes of Njuguna played a very pivotal role in coming up with one of the best outfit in terms of Kenyan rugby. Well, of course, we'll be having some other matches in different nationwide regions, playoff, of course, matches in 5 regions. For central region, not just the Kiambu Zetech match will be happening. We'll also be having Jekwa taking on Moranga RFC. Embu RFC will be taking on MKU Thika. Chuka RFC will be hosting Meru RFC. And of course, in the Nairobi region, Stingers, who again are giants in the Nairobi nationwide, will be hosting Vandal, another side from Harlequins, development side from Kenya Harlequins, and of course Northern Suburb. Another side that is a development from KCB will be hosting Administration Police, the Roraka ground. Of course, Daystar Falcons will be hosting Swara. Of course, Shamas Foundation will be playing host to Cooperative University. Those are just by the fixtures from Central and Nairobi region. We'll also be having other matches in different nationwide region. Of course, the conversation is not over in terms of grassroots rugby. We'll also be looking for Zetech guys to just confirm whether the same issues that Kiambu RFC is facing are the same issues they are facing in the nationwide. Oh, I see the captain. Allow me, Florence, to just have a quick conversation with the captain of Zetech. Remember, the game is about to kick off, but so it's better place to have this conversation. Ian, mambo vipi? Let's talk about season imekuwaje kwanza.
We've had a good season. We've played well. I've had a bit of ups and downs, but we were good. We work hard. At least we've reached the playoffs. So today it's like a new dawn for us. We should work hard through this game because it's a win. It's a must win to progress. So today is the day that.
Today is the day. Your 4th season in the national wide. Of course, you have been impressive. They're even calling you giant killers. Zetech, the giant killers. Let's talk about the challenges that grassroots rugby faces, and of course, grassroots clubs. We've talked to Kiambu. They have their own challenges. I don't know whether it's the same situation in terms of the challenges that you're facing in your side.
There are a lot of challenges, mostly in the nationwide league. First, I can say, in terms of officiating. Sometimes they give the referees that are assigned to our matches, let's say they're not up to par, up to standards they don't know all the rules, but there's still lots of challenges because, as you can see, most of our teams, like the union, does not recognize us a lot. They just focus on mostly big teams, but we do what we can with what we have, and that's why we have grown. We've worked hard to where we are right now. Also, we've had challenges of retaining players. We've had good players, but unfortunately, when the big teams call them, we don't have something to retain them. So they have no otherwise because they're being called to big opportunities, to, let's say,
the likes of CB,
big clubs, and so sometimes we lose great players in the middle of the season even, because they are being called to greater places.
Okay. You talked about the union. Let me ask a question about the union. We have had the AGM, I think it was last week if I'm right. We elected a new office. We have new leaders. We have new chairman in terms of new directors. I know you're not an affiliate of the Kenya Rugby Union, but you are an associate of the Kenya Rugby Union. And whatever the affiliates, the decision they make will trickle down to you. The effect will trickle down to you. Do you think the affiliates made a very good decision, or rather they made a decision that is going to impact in terms of the grassroots rugby?
In my opinion, most of the elected officials of the Kenya Rugby Union, most of them are let's say they are by well-known clubs. For us, I think there's only one guy who I know, Combo, who has been given the, I think, secretary something position. For the Kenya Rugby Union. He has done a little bit of some grassroots rugby, so they focus on lesser teams, but he's just one guy. I don't think that we've had enough representation at the Kenya Rugby Union for young talents and, let's say, emerging clubs.
Today's game, are you going to Topo Kiambu? Do you think you have what it takes to make it all through to the finals of the national?
I believe we have done the hard work. So today is the D-Day. Let's leave it to the end of the match that we may know.
Ian Odoya, asante sana. Go prepare for yourself. We'll be watching out to see what will be the outcome of the match. Asante sana. Well, Florence, you heard it from Kiambu RFC and, of course, Zetech. Just a conversation about the situation in terms of grassroots level. The biggest complaint has been in terms of the union not focusing too much in the nationwide. And to be specific, the nationwide clubs from Central region are complaining that most of the time they're not given the attention. People don't believe that rugby can come from the Central region. Again, maybe it's because of, you remember the likes of Mike Tankotieno, who we call them the rugby apostles. When they first introduced rugby, I know there have been a question of why rugby is so famous in the Western. It's because the first Mike Tank, who is the teacher, he made sure that he spread the game in Western, and that's why maybe we find more of rugby clubs coming up from those sides. But that does not mean that other regions are not having rugby clubs. Look at Coast region. It's coming up with a lot of giant toppers. We have, of course, in fact, the Rift Valley having giant toppers in terms of good sides coming up. Nakuru is producing good sides. So there is a lot of revolution in terms of rugby. While Florence will be trying to have as much as conversation, of course, just in case we have anyone from the union coming around here, we'll try and talk to him and provide with a very good conversation in terms of grassroots rugby in Kenya. Back to you, Florence, in studio.